Hello folks, welcome to my channel Java Demystified by SSR. Today I have come up with a question to solve in Java. The question is like this. Write a multi-threaded Java program to print all numbers below 1000 which are both prime and Fibonacci numbers. As an example, 2, 3, 5, 13, etc. So which are actually both prime numbers and they are part of the Fibonacci series. Prime numbers are the numbers which are divisible by 1 and itself. As an example, 2, it is divisible by 1 and 2. 3, it is divisible by 1 and 3. 13, which is divisible by 1 and 13, that is itself. And Fibonacci series is a series where the nth term is the sum of n minus 1 plus n minus 2 terms. As an example, if you see, for example, you say 5, so 5 is the combination of 2 plus 3, and 13 actually 5 plus 8, but 8 is not a prime number. So I want to print the common numbers which are both prime and Fibonacci. So how we are going to solve this problem? So we need to create a thread that generates prime numbers below 1000 and writes those prime numbers into a list. So any list we can take, and another thread that generates Fibonacci numbers within 1000 and writes them to another list. Now the main thread should read both the lists and identify the common numbers and display them. So this is the task. So you have to write a multi-threaded program. So 3 threads should be there and 2 are child threads, let's say T1 and T2, and the third is your main thread. We know for every Java program execution, a main thread is going to get created, and that main thread also we have to use, and that is going to identify the common numbers and display them. So how we are going to solve this? So let me actually go to my Sublime Text here. I have already written the program, and let me explain. Now I have a class called numbers, and in this class I am going to write 2 methods. One is primes method, another is fibs method. So the primes method prints the prime numbers within 1000, and the fibs method will print the Fibonacci numbers within 1000. Let's see the logic actually. So how to find a prime number? We understood a prime number is a number which is divisible by 1 and itself. So that means it is actually going to have 2 factors. So for example, if I divide that number from 1 to half of its number, then there is only one factor. Then also I can say it is a prime number. So I will make prime logic efficient by dividing that number up to its half size only. We know that after half of the size of a number, you don't find a factor. For example, if you take 100, so 100 has factors 1, 2, 5 until so on up to 50. Once you cross 50, you will not find a factor for 100, right? So I am using that simple logic. So I am starting actually from 1 to half of the number size, and I'm finding the factors, and if the factors are only 1, so the count equals to 1, then it is a prime number. So that is actually the base for this logic. So what I'm doing here, so I'm also making a count of the prime numbers which are in first 1000 numbers. So initially the count equal to 0. Now of course I have a list because all the prime numbers I have to write to a list. So list L equal to new array list. I am taking array list collection class, and of course I have used the generics because this is going to contain all integers. So I have made it a list integer L equal to new array list of integer, and this is the logic. So I am starting from 2 and I am going up to 1000. Every time I value is going to get incremented. Now I am taking each I value and I am seeing whether it is prime or not. So my inner loop j equal to 1 and j less than I by 2. So I will go up to half of that number only, because after that I am not going to get any factor. And if I mod j equal to 0, if this particular j can divide this particular I value, then I am making a count of that factor. And if the count is greater than 1, definitely that is not going to be a prime number. Unnecessarily I am wasting time, right? The count is greater than 1 and I am coming out of it, because unnecessarily I am wasting time over there. Okay, so if count equals to exactly 1, then definitely that is a prime number. I am printing that prime number with a tab space, and I am actually later on what I'm doing is whenever it is a prime number, I'm making the count incremented so that I will keep track of the number of primes. And at the same time, if it is a prime number, I am adding to the list which I have created. So that is actually an array list L. Okay, so now this loop will continue till I value exceeds this 1000, and I value less than or equal to 1000, and when exceeds will be coming out of the loop. So once you come out, what I'm doing, I'm printing the number of primes and I'm returning the L value, because my primes method will return list type, right? So now what happened, all the prime numbers I have added to this L, the list object, and I am returning back. So whoever calls this prime, they have to catch this particular L. Fine. So this is about primes. Then coming to the Fibonacci, I have the method called fibs, and you know Fibonacci series already. So Fibonacci series actually starts with 0 and then 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1, then 1 plus 1 is 2, then 1 plus 2 is 3, and 2 plus 3 is 5, and 3 plus 5 now 8, and then 13, and then actually 21. Like that you will be generating the Fibonacci series. So I want all these Fibonacci numbers within 100, sorry, within 1000. So I came to uh, find that, and there are only 15 terms which are possible. Other than 0 and 1, you can generate 15 terms, and that 15 terms will be within less than 1000. So that's why deliberately I have made I less than or equal to 15. So that means in 1000 I have 15 terms only, Fibonacci numbers only, leaving 0 and 1 apart. Okay, because 0 and 1 I have to initialize initially, because I have to print them also, a equal to 0 and b equal to 1, and I'm adding them to the list which I'm creating over here, because the fibs returns the list type which is actually list of integers. Then what is the logic? So you will, a and b are there and you have to find the c. So c equals to a plus b, so c equal to a plus b, and every time the role of a and b will be changed actually. So when I compute the new c, so the c value I will give to b, and earlier b value will become a. So like that you will be generating the Fibonacci series. Okay, so this is the logic. So as soon as you find a Fibonacci number, I am adding to the list L, and finally at the end I am returning the list. The callers will actually have to take care of this particular L, right? So this is the logic for finding primes and Fibonacci numbers, and as asked, we are actually writing them to a list. Okay, so now I have to do this with threads. So because I want to make it a multi-threaded program, so when you have a multi-threaded program, what happens, these threads will simultaneously will execute. They will share the critical section and they simultaneously will execute. So each thread will have its own flow of execution, so response times will be higher, performance will be more, etc and etc. So those are actually the advantages of the multi-threading, right? So now what I'm doing, I'm going to create two threads. So I'm done with my numbers class. Numbers class is over, and I'm going to write two threads. One thread actually prints prime numbers, another thread actually prints Fibonacci numbers and writes them to the list. So now let's come to the class prime thread. Okay, so how do you create a thread? A thread can be created in Java in two ways: by extending the thread class and by implementing the runnable interface. I am actually using the first method by extending the thread class. So any class that extends thread, then the objects of this class prime thread will become threads, right? Yeah. So now in this thread class, what I'm doing, what is the purpose actually? So I have to create a thread, then I have to implement the run method. In fact, I have to override the run method, because we know in thread class the run method has empty implementation. So here actually I am overriding that. And while overriding, what I have to do is I have to call this primes method, because it's a prime thread. I have to call primes method. So primes method is available in class number. So I am taking uh, a reference variable of n over here, and I am constructing this prime thread with this particular reference of numbers, so that I can call my primes with that particular reference variable. So in public void run, what I'm saying is n dot primes, and we know that primes returns a list. So I have list L, which is actually uh, catching what are all the prime numbers which were added to the list in the primes method, right? So that's why I have actually have I took L, which is of type list, so list of integers. So this is the main logic. Then what I'm doing is, because I have list L, the list of integers L now, which contains all the primes. Now I have to get this list also, right? Because the main thread has to compare both the lists, and it has to identify the common numbers, right? So for that, I require this list to be available to my main method or to my main thread. So that's why I'm writing one more method called getList, which returns list of integers, and I'm saying return L as part of my prime thread. Okay. So same is the case for my Fibonacci thread also. So class fib thread extends thread. So you require numbers reference variable, that is numbers object, and then there is a list L, because the list has to be returned to the main. And here in my run method n dot fibs, and I'm catching the list with L, which is a list of integers. And the same in the same fashion, I want this L to be available to my main method, where my main thread is available. So I am actually writing get list, and I am returning this L. This is a list of integers. So two threads are done. So my class numbers with the two methods primes and fibs is ready, and two threads, one is prime thread and fib thread, both are ready. So now I just need to have my main class. So this is my main class, public class multi demo, and which uses actually so many classes from util package. So that's why I have imported java.util. So not only this class, and numbers and all other two threads also use lists actually. So import java.util is mandatory. So now here what I'm doing is, in my main method straight away, I have two lists, AL1 and AL2, because they are array lists. So I have made generics, because these are all list of integers. Why AL1 and AL2? AL1 to hold primes, and AL2 to hold Fibonacci. And now I am creating an instance of this numbers class, because this is required, because every thread is using it. So I am creating an object, of this number class, and through this object only I can actually call primes and fib methods, right? And after that, I am creating my prime thread, t1 equal to new prime thread, and I have made t1 dot start, so my prime thread is ready. And because t1 dot start is called, now it starts executing the run method. So in the run method, so we have n dot primes is there. So finding prime numbers now will get takes place when I run actually. Okay, so now deliberately I am making t1 dot join, because you know what join method will do. So this join method makes other threads to die. So whenever I call join on this t1, all other threads will wait this t1 to finish. Otherwise what happens, you have fifth thread also, that is t2 is also there, and your main thread is also there. So they also will be executing parallelly. So without computing the primes and Fibonacci numbers, your main thread cannot compare and identify common numbers. So that's why what I'm doing is, whenever thread 1 started, I'm waiting the I'm making all other threads to wait for this thread 1 to finish. Let it finish first, finding all the prime numbers and print. And then fifth thread, T2 equal to new fifth thread, T2 dot start, and now this thread 2 also starts, but it will wait T1 to finish. And now what I'm doing is T1 T2 dot join also, because after that the main thread also will compete with T1 and T2, right? So main thread actually goes and gets the list and then do some other stuff. But if Fibonacci numbers are not available, if prime numbers are not available, what the main thread will be doing, right? So you will get a wrong outcome. So that's why what I'm doing is I'm making first the prime thread to finish its job. Once it is finished, then I'm making my Fibonacci thread to finish its job. So that's why I am deliberately using this join. Once both are done, so T2 dot join, what it will make the main thread to wait till it finishes its job. When T2 dot join is done, that means I have a primes list and I have a fibs list also. Now actually my main thread will start doing all these things. So it will, actually what we do is we call the get list on T1, get list on T1. So get list will return a list of primes, and T2 dot get list will return a list of Fibonacci. So I am taking them in AL1 and AL2. That's why we have created this AL1 and AL2 over here. And in order to find the common, so you need not to write any logic actually. So we have a method called retain all. We have method retain all in collections. The collection framework we have understood, and you might have understood already, a collection interface has methods which can be used by all other collection objects. So now what I'm using is AL1 dot retain all of AL2. So retain all will actually print us the common in both the lists. AL1, what are all common in AL1 and AL2, those are going to get retained. So that's what actually happens in AL1. Now you are going to get retained what are the things which are common in AL1 and AL2. That's how the retain all will work. So we need not to devise any new logic to do that. Just use this retain all method so that you will find the common in AL1 and AL2. So now AL1 dot retain all of AL2. So all the common things now is available with AL1. So I'm saying here common in both primes and fib series, and I'm printing this particular AL1. So now the common numbers which are both prime and Fibonacci will get printed. Okay, so this is how we are going to solve the task, the program that was asked to do, right? So you have your main class where your main thread is working and all two child threads are created, and then you have your logic implemented as part of the numbers class, and you are having two threads. Right? So let me actually compile and see. So let me save this first. Yeah, let me compile and see multidemo.java. So Java C multidemo.java is compiled successfully. There is no problem. And when I say Java space multidemo, it is nothing but multidemo.main. And whenever main method is started, so main thread is also going to get created. So the main thread, now what actually happens, it creates two array lists, then it instantiates the numbers, then it creates a T1 thread, prime thread, and then fib thread. But these threads will be waiting because join is called on prime thread. When prime thread is done, and the fib thread will start, and because join is called, the main thread will wait for this T2 to complete its job. Then the main thread will actually call all these methods, and we will be finding the common numbers. Let's see what will be the output that we are going to see. Yeah, so now if you see, first prime thread is working, we know, because prime thread and later join was called, and number of primes from within 1000 or 168 are there. Within 100 we have 25 prime numbers, within 1000 we have 168 prime numbers, right? So those are all got printed. And now Fibonacci series I am starting. So 0 1, first start with 0 and 1, then from here onwards we are actually computing, and I'm actually going up to 987. So the next term will be 610 plus 987, which is uh, which is actually bigger than 1000, right? So that's why I have gone up to the 15 terms only, right? So now what are all common things actually from here to here? So 2 is common, and then 3 you can see common, then 5 is there, okay, but 7 is not there here, right? And then 13 is there, and then of course 17 is not there here, 19 is not there here, and the next common element is 89, and the next common is actually 233, right? So within 1000 you just have 6 numbers which are prime and Fibonacci, right? So this is how uh, the asked problem has to be solved, right? So once again, I'm just simply summarize what I did. Actually, I have written a class numbers and primes logic, then Fibs logic, and these two methods returning lists actually, and those lists, whenever a thread starts or a thread starts, and they will compute, and they are actually getting stored in some lists which are list of integers, and those are actually written back with the get list method, right? So in the main method, we are actually creating two array lists to hold those lists which are written when we call this get list, and return all will actually find the common numbers. So what I did here is I made use of join here. Otherwise the main thread will compete with the child threads as well, and you will be getting uh, you will be getting outcome which is actually not in proper order. Okay, so this is one way. So there are other ways also you can do. So you can actually make use of the synchronized keyword, and you can do that, right? So even when it is synchronized, the critical section you can enter only when you apply a lock. So by making those methods synchronized also, you can solve the problem. That is the other way, and there are a number of other ways also how this problem can be solved, right? So this is not the only way. So you can write the same code in n number of ways. So hope you have understood the problem that has been asked actually, and the explanation. So if you like my explanation and the program, then you can actually like my videos, share to your friends, and if you have not subscribed, you can actually subscribe to my channel as well, and stay tuned for more videos. So I will be coming up with new topics and new questions and new things in core and advanced Java as we progress. Thank you.